was way more freaky than me. Yeah, she was. She wanna do it in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening, we freaking. She love to get it on. Yeah, I had to sleep with one eye open, but this woman won't leave me alone. No, she won't. I had to sleep with one eye open, yeah, but this woman won't leave me alone. No, she won't. All she wanna do is make love.
All right, all right. Welcome back to Chatterbox TV. And this is King Jacob bringing you another star-studded episode of some of the greatest Southern Soul artists in the world on this Southern Soul Tuesday. So today we have man, powerhouse, vocalist, singer, songwriter, um, public figure, actress, Lady Songbird Jinda is with us live in the building. So, as we get geared for her to tell her story, her backstory, her journey, man, I'm just thankful that y'all is tuning in. So, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really great.
Good, good, good. So, before we get started into your story, who are you?
Well, my name was born Jinda Tawisha Marie Harris. I'm married to Harris, but maiden name is Williams. And I am from Springfield, Ohio, by way of Texas. So currently I live in Augusta, Georgia. We moved here about 10 months ago. And I come from a musical family. My uncle is Aaron Blackman. He was the musical composer for the late Luther Vandross, as well as the lead guitarist for Roger Troutman and Zapp, and he was a co-writer to Computer Love. And my cousin is Cindy Blackman Santana. She's married to Carlos Santana, and she's also the drummer for Lenny Kravitz, and she's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I come from a very musical family. I sang all my life. My mom says I sang since the age of 7. And she kept me in choir and kept me in little talent shows. And I was real shy, extremely shy. But she kept me all the way through until I graduated with a full 4-year scholarship for music and vocal technique to Morris Brown College in Decatur, Georgia, to study opera. So I wanted to be an opera singer, which helped with the
Wow.
I didn't finish, but I did get all the training and all the classical training from all the years prior. And then I end up singing background and opening up for amazing artists such as Ohio Players, Confunction, Tank, Genuine, Jay Holiday, Shantae Moore, the list goes on. And I was the background singer for the late Ollie Woodson of the Temptations whenever he was in Texas and performed. So
All
that's
right,
it.
all right. Oh, that's loaded. That's really loaded. So, man, you covered a lot with the answer stating who you are. And so, if we can rewind back from the early stages of childhood and singing in the choir and stuff like that. So, how did your mom take notice that you had this gift?
Well, like I said, I was extremely shy. I was singing with my eyes closed. My mom was the type, we had family reunion. She was like, Jimmy gonna sing. And I was like, no. She would just put me in front of the family. And my mom would put me in the little talent shows and things like that. But I sang background and I sang with a live band when I was in Texas, Houston, for a number of years. But prior to that, when I lived in Atlanta in 1998, I was in a 4-girl group named Sugar. And it was an acronym for Soulfully Uniquely Gifted Artists. And we were a cappella, like kind of like a Boys to Men, but a female version. We sang everything a cappella. And we were very, very good. But the group didn't make it. We didn't last. They wanted to shop me as a solo artist. And at the time, with my first marriage, he wasn't going for it. I had to raise my
Mhm.
kids, and once I raised my kids, and flash back to now where I met someone that is very supportive. My husband of 13 years is very, very supportive. And when he first heard me sing, he uh he got all the equipment. We were at karaoke because I stopped singing. Let's go backtrack. I stopped singing right after my father passed away. I just didn't have the love for it anymore. I went through a deep depression with that, and I stopped. But when I met my husband, we were out and he just heard me sing, and everybody just standing over. He said, "Look, we getting all your equipment. You got to do this for real, for real."
Mhm.
And that's where it all started. And my husband managed me. He books me, and it's just a team. Now I have a team that helps me along the way.
Okay, okay. So what's so interesting about you is all the octaves you sing in classical music, man. So with with all the breathing techniques and the vocal training and all the training, like because it's one thing to be able to sing raw because it's from your bloodline, but when
Mhm.
you train in classical and opera, that's a whole different level. And so, how does that separate you from the rest, in your opinion?
Because I can break into singing operatic tones at any time. I say, hey, one day I might do an opera soul album. You just never know. Just kind of change and bring a new genre. The beautiful thing about being classically trained is that you can hear tones, and you can hear where you're wrong, and you can definitely hear music, and you see different ways to display music. So there's sometimes you can hear throughout my songs that I go and click into the operatic tones, especially when I hit those high notes, and then I take it back down to an R&B smooth soul sound. So yeah, I can change it up. I can trigger it.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So it's funny that you're from Ohio, right? So
Mhm.
I've recently interviewed Garden Park out of Cleveland, Ohio, which one of them used to be in the Rude Boys. The others have worked with Gerald Levert and the Levert family. And I recently, and last night, I interviewed Joe Bailey, which was Gerald Levert bodyguard since 1988. Very good friend of Gerald, and his artist Terry Harris, which sounds exactly like Gerald Levert. And
Oh wow.
so what I'm seeing with the old Ohio sound, it's a lot of
Mhm.
gems that come out of Ohio,
Yeah.
and because I remember growing up, my pops and his friends used to talk about the sound of Cleveland all the time. You know what I mean? And that that whole Ohio area, you know, it just had this sound like you had the sound of Philly, the sound of Chicago, the sound of Motown,
Mhm.
the sound of Stax. You know what I mean? So with you being from the Ohio area, what are some things that you remember about the music scene there, whether it's
Well,
gospel or whether it's gospel or secular?
it's not much, for the simple fact I left Ohio when I was 9 and moved to Texas.
Oh,
So I,
okay.
I was a kid when
Hmm.
they were having rehearsals and and concerts. I was there, but I was a kid, so I really didn't know. And they're a lot older than I am, of course. So
Hmm.
of course, being around me and being in my element, you'll definitely. And I do agree with you that every area has their own sound. Ohio has their sound. Detroit has their sound. Philly, New York, the list goes on. Everybody has their signature sound. And I do feel like because I'm from there, I have embodied the Ohio sound. Whatever that sound might be, whatever comes out, I feel like that's a part of my upbringing from Ohio.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can dig now, Texas, um, people's like, man, what you think about the Texas sound? I said, well, if you know anything about gospel music praise and worship and quartet music, Texas has been one of those southern states that's really owned that for a while. And so
Mhm.
with you being in Houston, what is that music scene out there in Houston? What is that like?
Well, Houston is totally different. You're getting into more so of the Zydeco and the trail ride when it comes to, because you're on the line of Louisiana as well. It's kind of meshed together. So to me, you get more of the Southern Soul aspect in that regards, because I believe Southern Soul is a soul cluster, like a gumbo pot of different sounds. uh it's soul,
Hmm.
so what I get from it, there's so many different facets when it comes to variety of genres in Houston. They offer everyone from Slim Thug, you get, and you get the Ghetto Boys, and then you turn around, you can get Latoya Luckett, you can get Beyonce. There's so many different facets. Sierra's from Dallas, Austin, Texas. So there's so many different facets. And I've lived in, Houston, I've lived in Dallas, I've lived in Atlanta. So I have like so many different, I've seen the music scene on so many different levels. To me, I came up during the time where neo soul was a huge thing.
Hmm.
You know, uh, I grew up on R&B all day long, but neo soul hit the scene. Everybody loves some Jill Scott and some Music Soul Child, some Erica Badu. That for a minute was the it, as far as sound. So it's kind of hard to say, what the music scene is like in all these different areas, because every area gives something a little different.
So for you, you are well rounded a singer songwriter. So
Hmm.
I have a question for you. I have a two-part question for you. So I'm gonna ask the first one. You know, I I know NDRE and Jill Scott and Vivian Green and Algebra Bassett and people like that. Natasha Bedford and people like that same neo soul. But man, they be forgetting about one of the greatest neo soul singers of all time. Like you can't mention it if you don't mention the project that Nina Simone put out in the early 70s. You know what I mean? Like to me, she was the very maybe one of the first ones that kind of embodied and owned that sound of neo soul. Would you agree
Right.
with that?
I would agree. I definitely would agree with that. I would also agree, like, just to flash back to just the history of music. That's one of the things I had to learn in studying music. Um, e- uh, Whistle tone registers. You can't give. I do whistle tone, but you can't give the flowers to Mariah and Shantae Moore. They are amazing women. They're great in what they do. But the originator, of course, Minnie Riperton,
Yes.
she is the staple whistle tone,
Right.
she is the one that opened the doors for those beautiful ladies. So yeah, I am with you with that. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Right.
I'm
And
a, I
so what's so funny is when you say that I had a I had the pleasure of sitting down and having dinner with Candy Staten some years ago, and me and her talked about what we now call Southern Soul, what they call Soul Blues. You know what I mean? And she was telling me that the greats like James Brown and Marvin Cease and a list of many others that go on that came through the Chitlin circuit. She was like the young folks just kind of stirred the pot and called it something else, but it's the same as. And I agree with it because I remember my daddy playing those 45 records off the Capone set, and what I listen to now with Southern Soul, it's the same rendition what I listened to back then. So I just say Southern Soul is quartet settling. You know what I mean? So so
definitely
so that's what I
so
call it.
you can definitely feel it in your soul. You feel it. It's a feeling that you have when you put that record on. It's a feeling that you have. It's a bass line that you feel when you hear it in church. Just like you said, a quartet feel. So yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely agree.
Now you are a pretty famous person. You are Lady Songbird Jinda. You touch many stages with many people that people don't realize that you been on the same stage with. So as far as you touching some of the stages that you touch, what is the most memorable time, as far as you doing a performance and some of the people that you network with?
Well, I think the most memorable time people ask Jinda, how did you get the name Songbird? Because there's plenty of songbirds out there, but the name Songbird wasn't given to be by me waking up and just saying I'm gonna be a songbird. My name's gonna be Songbird. It was actually given to me during a show that I had. I want to say it was 2003. Um, we took a break, came back with the band, and when I hit the stage, because it was my set, so when I hit the stage, the band, the audience just started chanting "Songbird, Songbird, Songbird." So that's how that came about, and to me, that was a memorable time, and that's how that name came about. Um, I think, and also a memorable moment for me is when I was able to do the makeup for Tina Marie, because I was a makeup artist and I was hired a pro team to do makeup for her when she was doing the show. And it was very, very, I was so nervous. So nervous because her background singers were in there and they were warming up. And I know all her songs like the back of my hand. And I wanted to open my mouth and I wanted to sing, but I was there to do a makeup job. So that's what I was doing.
Wow,
And then
wow, wow.
another,
So you was a celebrity in MUA.
I used to be a makeup artist for years, certified makeup artist.
Okay, okay. I mean, that's really interesting with all the networking that makeup artists do, and all the people that you touch in the type of rooms that you be in. So what was your thought process of you getting into all these rooms? You know what I mean? Because it's some high end rooms that makeup artists be in, because of their career. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had, being a makeup artist, I've had the opportunity to do makeup for Kirk Franklin's wife, for different people. In that aspect, being there, when you're hired for a job, you still have to maintain the same professionalism that you would with anything. I feel like God puts you at appointed places at appointed times for that reason and purpose only. Now, if God would have told me, Jenny, you need to crack a note and sing something, I would have did it. But it wasn't my
Mhm,
time to do that yet.
I can dig it. I
Everything
can dig it.
everything come full circle. That's what I look at. So when they see me again on the red carpet or the BET red carpet, speaking on Kirk Franklin's wife, because T. Marie is passed, but she sees me, she'll know who I am, and she'll be like, "Oh my
Wow.
gosh, you did my makeup," you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, this was
I
years
can
ago
dig it.
though. This was so many years ago, like 2000, maybe 2003, 2004, around those times. Yeah.
Okay, so let's rewind your career back a little bit. Tell me about the very first time you went into a studio session and recorded your very first single. What was it like mentally, emotionally, and like what was that feeling like for you? If we can just kind of rewind back in time.
It was a dream. It
Okay.
was a dream. My first song that I recorded was of my own was "Everything's All Right." That
Okay.
was my very first blues soul, southern soul type of song. And when I tell you that right there, just going into the studio and you visualize it as a kid that this is something that you were going to do,
Hmm.
but to be there, it just seems like you were out of body. It was just an experience you can't even imagine. Especially, one thing I love about being in the studio is just the creative control that you have when you're in the
Hmm.
studio. And when I listen to the music, when I first did my music, I can definitely see the progression and how I've changed and evolved as an artist when I hear my new music compared to my older music.
Okay, I can dig it. Now, I do want to say I did some promo on this show today, and I chose a particular song, and it reminded me so much of a Betty Wright. It's kind of like a mix between a Betty Wright, and then I could hear the beat in my head from "Take a Trip Down Memory Lane." So it was a really really funky type vibe. It was a vibe that uh, uh, you know, I can see a few of my uncles and a few of my oldest cousins having their cigars and drinking some whiskey, and somebody bringing a gallon of bootleg out the back, and they said, "Boy, who that is?" You know what I mean? So that's why I chose the song because of the vibe. And so
Uh-huh.
when you work with producers, you know what I mean? Because first of all, the production is what caught me, but me knowing that you was going to put a lot of hot sauce on there, maybe some Texas Pete, some buffalo sauce, and it goes on and on. You know what I mean? So with that with that being said, what do you look for in a producer? You know what I mean? How does a producer pique your interest?
When a producer to me will tell me when I'm wrong. You get a lot of producers in that just happy to work with you, and they kind of act and I'm not they act like they're the fans. They don't want to tell you, you're a little sharp right there. A little flat right there. Oh, that sound, I want you to tell me. I want you to push the best out of me possible.
Hmm.
And,
Right.
to me, a key thing is, getting a producer in there that's worked. It's a seasoned producer that pretty much is musically inclined, possibly plays music already, as a musician himself, so he can hear. Because this is two
Hmm.
different things to me. Dealing with a producer that doesn't really know music, everything is computerized and generated. But when the producers that I've dealt with in the past and up to now, they're seasoned. They know music, they play music.
Hmm.
And when I record, everything is live instrumentation.
Okay. Okay. So you one of those? Okay, then. Understood. You one of those? As my homeboy would say, she is she, and she's always going to be she. You know what I mean? So meaning that that live sound is what piques your interest. I mean, even if it's just a three piece, with the with
Yeah.
the with the piano player, the bass guitar and the drummer. You know what I mean? Because I tell people all the time, if you want a key sound, all you really need is that three-piece band. You know what I mean?
That's
Now, if you got a rhythm, a lead, and a bass, and you got a pianist and a drummer, and you might have somebody that can blow that sax just to put the icing on the cake, that's even better. You know what I mean? That's even better. So when it comes to you and that live instrumentation, man, what have your jam sessions been like?
Oh man, off the chain. I love it. That's
Hmm.
my happy place.
Hmm.
Just to
Hmm.
jam out and to hear good music being created.
Right.
All those juices are flowing. Me and my husband has a notepad over here, and I have a notepad over there. He writing stuff down, I'm writing stuff down, and we just gelling when it comes to creating new material. And I love to hear live music, even on my off days. That's what I do. Me and my husband, we know a friend of ours is playing somewhere, and it's not to hit the stage, just to support. We'll go out and listen to live music. That's what we
I
do.
can dig. I can dig it. I can dig it. And I tell people, man, yeah, I grew up on the soul blues, and not that we call Southern soul, man, but through and through, I'm an R&B guy. You know,
Mhm.
I like that pretty brown eyes type. I like that,
Yeah.
celebration. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like that war slipping in the darkness. You know what I mean? I like them real guitar players and their real sound and listen to them Ohio players and
Yeah.
so why do you think now you are into the Southern Soul market now? But let's not even slight you at all now. You definitely an R&B soul diva for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure. So when it comes to you entering that Southern Soul market, but you know that you a true lover of R&B. You know what I mean? So why do you think R&B has kind of been not spoken about like it once was?
Well, I feel like it still is. It's relevant. It's still relevant. But I feel like we're mixing the two, and I love that. I love to see Stephanie Mills on the same card as 803 Fresh and King George on the same card as Fantasia and Anthony Hamilton and Stacey Adams. All those together. I think we all should work together. I
Okay.
don't. I feel like R&B. True singers, soul singers, and I love R&B. So you're gonna get still R&B out of Jinda, and you still gonna get Southern Soul out of Jinda. But the thing about it is, I feel like both of them have the same power to work together. Like did a said a quote earlier today on Facebook saying that be me by myself, you know, I can make a change by myself, but I'm a force when we work together. So I feel like with those two coming together, it makes a force. I still feel like R&B is still present and it's still relevant. I love to listen to Legacy. I love to listen to Avery Sunshine. I love to listen to all these new artists that's out here, man. They're doing the thing. But what
Hmm.
I don't there's a difference. There's a fine line though. There's new R&B and there's old school R&B. Now the new R&B, everything sounds the same, and I love it, but
Okay.
it's so different. You see what I'm saying when I say everything sounds the same? Everything sounds kind of like auto tuned, you know.
Hmm.
To whereas our true singers like the Legacy and the Jill Scott and the Avery Sunshine and the Rochelle Farrells and the Anita Bakers, we didn't need to use all that stuff because
Right.
true
Right.
music stood. And that's one thing I can say about Southern Soul. We got some straight singers in Southern Soul, people that can really, 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 really cut up. Jason A can cut up. You see what I'm
That's right.
saying?
That's right.
One, so
That's
many
right.
different artists actually sang. So, I feel like us working together with R&B, I feel like it's going to make it stronger and better all together.
I think when I asked you that, shout out you got promotion, Yolanda Marshall. Thank you for all your
Mhm.
plugs. Thank you for working with King Jacob TV.
Hi,
And I want to shout out
Yolanda.
to Mr. World Famous. Thank you for tapping in with us. I definitely appreciate
Yes,
you.
yes,
Thank
Mr.
you.
World
Thank
Famous.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So when I say that this is more of a thing that I have with terrestrial radio and FM radio and clear channel radio. I feel like clear channel radio has not held a bargain up to really, really still playing the R&B because you have a lot of R&B listeners, and you one of them. You are a heavy listener of R&B. You are a R&B singer as well. Like you can really sing anything you want. But that's the reason why I asked you that. Not there's not a lot of R&B singers because I was just looking at Joe got a new album coming out, Kim got a new album coming out, Maxwell got one coming out. So it's a lot of people that dropping albums. So yeah,
Mhm.
our R&B is still alive, of course. But
Mhm.
I was just cause I'm in that radio game, so I kind of listen to see what they're playing. You know what I mean? So to see what they playing. That like I kind of see how many rap songs they're playing rotation. I'm looking at the R&B. You know what I mean? Because everybody everybody still love that you R&B that is on the radio. The Case and the Joe and people like that. So you know what I mean. So we still definitely want that to be so. You know what I mean. But that's the reason why I asked you that though. So,
Oh yeah, oh
but
yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of
you
like
have a
everything.
song.
We just lost him. Then he was having some technical issues. Back.
Yeah, I'm
He was
back. I'm
having
back. Back.
technical issues.
Sorry about that. Okay, so you have a song in particular. You did a feature with someone. What is that young man's name?
I did a couple features. You mean the Cupid or Jeff Floyd,
That's
Donnie
his name,
Ray?
Jeff Floyd.
Jeff,
Jeff Floyd.
okay.
So, tell me about that feature.
This the song Now That It's Over, that was actually something that I wasn't even playing. We came to the studio to add final touches to a couple of songs that I had coming out, and Jeff Floyd was actually there at the same time in the studio. So when we got with him, we the song wasn't even, well, it was already, I think it wasn't created yet. He was finishing up on his. So the producer came in and they started playing around with the music, and it all started with us creating the hook. And we did our verse and he did his verse. We got into the booth and we created that song. So that's how that song came about. Yeah.
The song is really hot. That song is really, really hot. Yeah. But I wouldn't expect nothing less from you. If it's anything less, then me, I'm gonna be calling Mr. Howard and we're gonna have a conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I ain't gonna expect nothing less from you. So now we are here in 2025. Summertime is here. We in June. So what can we expect from you the rest of the year?
Oh, so for the rest of the year, what you can expect from Jinda, I have my EP coming out Friday. I'm so excited about that.
Right,
Called Table
right.
Turn. I have 5 songs on there. My new babies, Southern Soul Love, which got a great write-up today from Urban Music Scene, which is so awesome. Tables Turn is going to be on a smooth R&B tip. So I have something for everybody on this EP, which is awesome. And then later on in the year, I'll be dropping my tribute album, which I did remix to some of my favorite artists. That will be coming out. I already completed that. And also I will be traveling overseas. So I have some tours overseas in South Africa, Dubai, Johannesburg, Cape Town. I'll be overseas coming real soon. So towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some shows coming up though. I will be in Delray Beach in July. I'll be there for a whole week. July 11th.
Oh man. I might say that I used to live in that Florida area. So when you talking about Delray Beach and Boca Raton and places like that,
I'll be performing out there.
You going in there with the people who got some what we call capital. You know what I mean?
I'll be in Delray Beach. I'll be in Delray Beach, West Palm Beach, and Miami. I'll be out there.
Okay.
We'll be there for I can't wait for a whole week. It's like a vacation, but I'm staying at the same time. I love it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have such a wonderful time. It's gonna be such a wonderful experience for you. And the folks down there in Delray Beach and Fort Lauderdale and Miami and all the surrounding places like Boca Raton and places like that, y'all definitely in for a treat. Definitely in for a treat. And so with this new EP coming out, is this EP a vibrant EP that's full of emotions and full of life lessons, or what can we expect from this EP?
Oh, this EP is going to be full of emotions. full of every aspect. I have a gospel song on there. I have R&B song, Southern soul song. I have a breakup to makeup song on there. So you're gonna have a little bit of everything on that EP. You're gonna definitely like it's titled Tables Turn. You're gonna see a lot of what Jinda's about on this EP.
Okay. And so I'm glad I have you on here tonight, cause let's shine some light on your podcast segment. Talk about that and tell the people how you got that started and why you created it.
Well, I want to give a huge shout out to WB of the Studio W Buzz Network. He is amazing. He's been a great friend of me and my husband. So I always wanted to do something. I love to cook. Initially, I did want to do it might happen later on down the road where I have a cooking show like Patti LaBelle did. But I wanted to do a platform that helps people like myself. When we, especially the people that are just starting out, how significant it is to get your own equipment, and how significant it is to get your own copyright for your music, how significant it is for you to get your own DBA for the rights of your stage name. And also, you submitting your music to ASCAP and BMI so you can get your money, just different things. And I have a new person on every Thursday. And it's a 30-minute sit down. And the reason why it's 30 minutes is because it's just enough time for you to get those great gems on how they started their career, how they're maintaining their career, and where you can see them next. And then every month I have a legend on there. Someone that has already paved the way and made their mark. I have this week. I am delighted to have Zelda Thomas on. She is the cousin to Diana Ross, and she is a legend in her own right. She will be on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. So shout out to WB for that. Yeah, making that happen.
Every Thursday, y'all tune in with her. I've had a chance to tune in and share their lives and phenomenal work that she's doing. So definitely tune in with her. So speaking of legends, I'll be soon having the none other than Jesus Jones sitting down with me, and
All right.
I also have up and coming superstar Ice Doll sitting down with me as well soon. So just building those networks and just keeping it pushing. And so when it comes to you and how you built your network over the years, because you don't just build a network overnight. It takes years of hard work. And so, man, what is something that you want to tell younger artists about building a stable network?
Well, you build a stable network by not having a. You don't need a whole bunch of people to do that. You just have I call it the nucleus. And I do have people like, that are a part of Team Songbird Jinda LLC, which is my husband, myself, Boss D Promotions, and also Sweet C. So I have those people. And then alongside, I have other people that also help me along the way, like the beautiful Yolanda Marshall. I have so many increment people, but they're people that actually, they don't want nothing from you but to know that you're going up. They want to see you go up. They want to see you move up. You don't need people that are going to be, around you just to ride your coattail. And that's the thing. Getting out, everybody, you have to have this in your mind. Everybody ain't going to like you. That's okay. But God will place you in the midst of people that appreciate you and that do like you. And a lot of times the people that don't like you, they're the people the closest to you. And vice versa. Strangers love you. Strangers love you more than some of the people that are immediate to you. But you have to understand, you look at the common goal, you believe in yourself, and the people in your team believes in you, you're going to make it. You just have to have a bunch of believers and not people that are just about themselves. They're about you.
No doubt. And that's a word from the mouth, a word from the wise, and that's coming from head honcho, the Lady Songbird Jinda Harris. So you know what I mean.
And also let me just say this: if I have a question about anything, And you always have to have the ability to learn and grow. You never know everything. You learn and grow. Every day I learn something new about this industry. I've been in
Right.
it for a long time, but yet I don't know everything. And if I
Right.
have a question, I call. That's when I call the legends up. I can call anybody on the phone. If I have a question, I have their phone number. I can call my father. I call my father, my godfather of music, Mr. the legendary Rue Davis. I could call him. I could call, Nelly Tiger. I could call, anybody that I have questions, and they will pick up their phone and they will answer any question that I may have. That's the beauty of having relationships that you have established and you continue. You don't want nothing from each other, just love on one another. And that's a
That's
beautiful
right.
thing.
You're absolutely right about that. You're definitely right about that. Cause in this industry is definitely what you make it, and you definitely got to involve yourself with like-minded individuals, and amazing can happen. Well, we almost out of time, so I want you to announce your your EP again, and
Uh-huh.
and announce when it's dropping. So people can either go pre-sale, or they can just hit it when buy it when it come out. So announce it one more time for us, please.
All right, I'm gonna let you know. My new EP, Tables Turn, hits the scene midnight Thursday. All right, worldwide on all digital outlets. It comes out officially on Friday, but midnight is Friday on Thursday night. So you definitely can get it
Okay, okay.
worldwide.
You heard it first, Chatterbox TV. And if you inspire to be a guest on Chatterbox TV, you can definitely hit me up with your EPK at info@chatterboxtv365.com. You can also subscribe to the website for live updates, www.chatterboxtv365.com. And it's been a sensational episode tonight. I'm truly grateful. I'm thankful for you for coming on.
Thank
And shout out to your management, Mr. Howard. Shout out to Bridge the
Oh
Gap
yeah.
Promotions. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, and shout out to the people who are striving for excellence and just understand. God first. Great mindset. Stay encouraged, and the best is yet to come. Peace and blessings. We out of here.